Golden State Media Concepts presents the GSMC Classics series with episodes of some of your favorites from a day gone by, a time gone by. Join us as we time travel to some of your classic favorites from yesteryear. The GSMC Podcast Network invites you to sit back, relax, and enjoy the GSMC Classics series on the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network.
But Rogers in the 25th century.
And the shower of silver dollars from Popsicle Pete's Money Box. Together with Dr. Hewer and Wilma Deering, you know, Buck Rogers has just finished exploring an amazing city deep under the earth. Exploration made possible by Dr. Hewer's invention of a mechanical mole, a huge machine capable of burrowing its way through the ground. As we pick up our story now, we find them aboard the mechanical mole as it slowly but surely works its way back up toward the surface. Here we go, 500 years into the future.
All right, now, Buck, suppose you stop us again.
So soon, Doctor?
Yes, Buck.
Okay, whatever you say.
I want to check on the stratification of the ground we're going through.
To see if you can tell how near the surface we are, Doctor?
Yes, Wilma. Well, I can't do it while we're moving because of the glare from the heat ray in the nose of the machine.
If it weren't for the heat ray to melt the ground ahead of us, all the non-recoil energy in the world wouldn't move this machine.
Let me see now. I have to turn on the forward switch beam again.
You know, Buck, I still can't get over the city we found down below.
Sure. Gold and radium all over the place. As common to the people living down there as steel and impervium are to us.
Mighty fine people, too.
Well, my observations indicate that we've only a very short distance to go to reach the surface. So let's get underway again.
Sure thing you know. Anything to indicate whether we're on the same course we held on the way down?
I'm quite sure we are. Approximately, at least.
Oh, good. Then we won't need to worry about coming up under any buildings.
No, I'm quite certain we'll find ourselves on the landing field of the Niagara Municipal Spaceport, the place from which we started our underground exploration.
Good. Well, here we go. That's funny.
What's that about?
I don't know, sir. We don't seem to be making any progress.
Something wrong with the mechanism of the mechanical mold?
No. Something seems to bar our way. Wait, I'll turn on the forward search beam again and see what's in front of us.
Well, Buck?
Come up to this metallic glass window and look, will you?
Sure.
Buck.
See? The nose of our mole is smack bang up against a black, shiny surface of some kind.
Oh, yes. And what can be?
Looks like regular metal of some kind, doesn't it?
Yeah. Can't be anything very big, though, or we'd have run into it on the way down.
If we're on the same path we took before.
I'm sure we are, Wilma.
Oh, wait a minute. Let's see if we can push it out of the way. We didn't budge.
But that must be the impervium foundations of some big building that got buried in the ground during the Mongolian invasion years ago.
Possibly.
The heat from the sonic radiation projector makes it glow like impervium, doesn't it?
No. There's a greenish tint in that glowing metal that impervium doesn't have. I wonder how we're going to get around it, whatever it is.
You sure we can't push it out of the way?
I had full power on that last time. We didn't move an inch.
All right, then. The only thing to do is to radio to the surface for help.
The only question is what sort of help.
I know what we do.
What?
But we're not far from the surface, and we have a couple of atomic disintegrators.
One disintegrator. We gave the other to Gareth in the city of Ore.
Okay, one's enough. Hey, Wilma, give me a hand.
But what are you going to do with the pressure suit?
Disintegrate a hole up to the surface, and then crawl on out through it.
No, Buck, that may be very dangerous. We know we're near the surface, but we don't know how near.
Well, that's something I'll be able to tell you all about in a few minutes.
Well, suppose a cave-in should occur while you're blasting your way through the ground.
This pressure suit will protect me.
But if you lose the one disintegrator you have, if it gets knocked out of your hand...
Now, stop worrying, Doctor. Somehow, we got to get back to the ground level. You know from past experience that there's no use trying to move the mole against an obstacle like that out there, so...
All right, but be very careful every step of the way.
Sure. What I'll do is blast my way around that barrier, whatever it is, and then head as nearly straight upward as possible. The inertia and lifting unit in this uniform will keep me floating up. Then, as soon as I reach the surface, I'll take off this cast iron suit and commandeer a spaceship at the municipal spaceport.
Good. If our calculations are correct, it wouldn't be far from where you emerged.
And then what do you think you're going to do?
Well, a lot will depend on how deep this mechanical mole is lying. Only a few hundred feet, I'll swing a spaceship up into the air high enough to aim down a long-range disintegrator and blast away a big hole. Then we can float the mole up to the surface with the gravity rays.
Well, you better wait until you get up there. We'll be in touch with you by radio all along, and then will be the time to decide what's to be done.
Right, sir.
Buck, I'm not going to let you go.
Huh?
It's too dangerous.
Oh, now listen, Wilma.
There's no telling what you may run into between here and the surface.
Nothing more serious than a few straight of water sand, and this pressure uniform will protect me against any possible cave-in.
Buck.
We can't stay here underground forever. Here, now, help me get into this thing.
Oh, sir, we can't stay here underground forever, Willie, so what I'm going to do is put on this spacesuit on and disintegrate my way back to the surface.
Well, I guess this machine we built for digging down into the ground isn't so good, is it, Mr. Barney?
Huh? What do you mean it ain't no good? It's just on account that we got it sort of stuck against something down here?
Well, I'll bet Dr. Ewer's machine is getting along all right.
Yeah, and this here now one's going to be all right, too. Why, I bet it's twice as big as Dr. Ewer's.
Well, that's just the trouble. It's so
Oh,
big.
here. Help me get onto this space helmet. And I'll be all organized out to disintegrate a big hole back to the surface.
No, sir, Mr. Barney. I'm not going to let you do it.
Huh? What are you talking about?
It's too dangerous.
Dangerous? For me? Black Barney?
Yes, sir. There's no telling what you may run into out in that ground out there.
Ain't nothing to run into except maybe a couple of layers of sandy water or watery sand or something or two.
What if the hole you disintegrate out should collapse all over you?
I won't let it. I'll use this here disintegrator with a broad beam focus.
Huh?
I mean a broad beam focus.
Oh, a broad beam focus.
Well, ain't that what I said? A broad beam... Well, that's what I'm going to use anyhow.
But what if he should run into some wild animals or something?
Wild animals?
Yes, sir.
There ain't no such thing as wild animals running around in no solid ground. You know that, Willie.
Well,
Well, if I do run into it, why, I'll just blast them all to pieces with this here now disintegrator. Won't stop to ask no questions either. I'll just let them have it. Bing! I'll shoot first, and ask questions afterwards.
oh, all right. Only what about me? What if something should happen to you?
Don't you worry, Willie. No matter what happens, I'll see that you got took care of all right.
Look, isn't there some way for us to get this big machine turned around so we can run it back up again?
No. What I'm going to do is the only thing we can do. I can't talk to you no more on account of I'm going to put on this helmet. Open up the big metal door for me so that I can go on out and start disintegrating.
All right, Mr. Barney. Only I hope you're awful careful out there, because if anything was to happen to you, I don't know what I'd do. There's a door open for you. Go ahead. I guess you can't hear me, but goodbye. And be careful. Boy, that disintegrator sure cuts into the ground, doesn't it?
That disintegrator certainly cuts into the ground out there, doesn't it, Doctor?
Yes, it does, Wilma. It's strange to hear its sound coming to us by radio, though, through a transmitter in Buck's pressure suit.
Yes.
How's it going, Buck?
Fine, Doctor.
Good.
I'm not wasting any time trying to cut through the tough material that's blocking the mole, but just making a path around it and slightly upward.
Oh, all right.
This hand disintegrator certainly does a good job, too. Look out through the forward metalloglass window. By the light of it, you can see what kind of headway I'm making.
No use, Buck. The energy being released by the disintegration is in the form of heat, and all we can see is a heavy mist.
Well, at this rate, I ought to be up the surface in no time. Just like cutting through so much...
Yes?
Hey, this is funny.
What?
I've come into sort of a little cave here.
It's probably a place that was washed out by underground streams.
Yes, sir, that's what it is, all right. There isn't much of a ceiling to it, so I guess I'll...
Buck.
Wait.
What is it, Buck?
Doggone it, I wish I'd brought along a hand flash so I could see in here.
Why don't you come back and get one?
There's something else in this case besides me, Wilma. And it's alive and moving around.
Then come back here to the mechanical mold. Look.
Oh, sir. But when you hear my disintegrator, you'll know it's not just being fired into the ground.
Good night. Buck sees what I think he does. I hope he doesn't fire that disintegrator. And Barney said that if he saw anything, he'd fire first and ask questions afterward. But now stand by for a few words from your favorite announcer. Let's see now. Buck and Black Barney have finally managed to open the door of Barney's big underground machine. And there... But let's pick up our story exactly where we left off. Are you all set? Then here we go, 500 years into the future.
Willie.
Barney.
Captain, I know that I shouldn't leave the poor little tag all alone by himself down here under the ground. Willie!
He was in the control cabinet of your machine, wasn't he?
Sure he was. And now he's gone. Captain, what could have happened to him?
I don't know. Isn't there some other part of your groundhog where he might be? Sleeping quarters or something like that?
I looked at him and he ain't there. My Willie's gone, that's all. He's gone.
Now, Barney.
Somebody or something must have come in here and taken him. Do you hear me?
Yes, I hear you, but listen to me.
What do you mean, listen to you? My Willie's gone, ain't he?
Yes, I know, Barney, but no matter where he went, he couldn't have got very far in the few minutes since you left him here.
Just the same, he's gone. Now I don't know what I'm going to do.
Find him, of course. There's no way under the sun for him to have got very far away here underground.
Come on, Captain. Come on, and we'll go out the same way I did when I disintegrated my way up to the cave, but me and you run into each other.
Okay, Barney, lead the way. Only watch your step.
Yeah, sure. Probably some big wild animal will come along and fly.
Easy, Barney. This is a pretty sharp climb, and we haven't got a neutron lifting units to help us along.
Who cares about anything like that? We got to find it. We got...
Well, here's the big open cave, Barney.
Yeah.
You see anything of him? I'm afraid I don't. Although there's not very much light filtering in here from your control tower.
Really, if he got into this big cave, Captain, he would have got lost. He probably didn't see me anywhere around, so he kept on going and going. There's no telling where he might be now.
Not necessarily, Barney.
What do you mean, not necessarily?
Well, this cave isn't as big as all that. And there's only one way he could have gone out of it.
Sure, he might have fell into some big hole or bottomless pit or something.
No, Barney, no. The disintegrated shaft that leads down to our mechanical mold. Come on.
You think maybe he could have went down there to where Lieutenant Woman, Dr. Yours had? The same way I done?
That's it. Now, here's the shaft.
Yeah.
Only be careful, because it drops almost straight down, and it's nearly...
Barney! Come here!
Did you hurt yourself, Mr. Barney?
I guess No, sir, Willie. Are you all right?
Yeah, sure I am. I wanted to jump all the way down that long shaft.
On account of I couldn't wait it. Well, what do you think? On account of I must have slipped a little bit because it was so steep, that's why.
Oh, hello, Captain Rogers.
Hello there, Willie. Well, I'm glad to see you safe and sound.
Oh, sure I am.
Well, I bet you ain't twice as glad as I am, Captain. Not even half as glad. No, sir.
You'll don't see what all the fuss is about. Willie was just sitting here talking to us.
I just got tired of waiting, that's all. I wanted to make sure you were all right, Mr. Barney.
Did you?
Yes, sir. Then when I got out into sort of a cave up there, I saw a light coming up from that disintegrated away place. And I heard Lieutenant Wilmer talking with Dr. Ewer. So I thought the best thing to do was to come down here to them.
Oh, okay. As long as you was coming to Lieutenant Wilmer, it's all right.
I understand. He heard us saying some nice things about him, too. But I guess they won't hurt him.
Thank you, Lieutenant.
Well, you see, Lieutenant, the one thing I like about myself most is my being so modest. So I always tell Willie to be that way, too. Don't I, Willie?
Yes, sir.
Oh, and someday my little Willie's going to grow up to be the finest man that ever lived. Just like you, Captain Rogers, and Dr. Ure and Lieutenant Willie.
Well, the thing for us to do now is to get these two mechanical moles underway and headed for the surface. Suppose Barney and I go into the other machine.
Yes.
And leave you folks here to work the mole's non-recoil energy projector.
Well, do you think we can exert enough power against the nose of Barney's machine to push it right on up and out of the hole it dug?
Yes, sir, now that the ground brake is off.
Well, it's worth trying. But how are we going to know if it works out all right?
Well, we can keep in touch with each other by radio.
Fine.
Come on then, Barney.
Yeah, yes, sir. You know, Captain, that machine you folks are using isn't as big as mine and all that sort of stuff. But yours looks real nice and compact.
Well, we traveled a good many miles in it without any trouble.
And did you find anything?
Oh, plenty. But we can talk about that later, Barney.
Yeah.
Let's get into your control cabin.
Yeah, you go right ahead and sit in the control seat.
All right. You'll have to tell me how to work these various levers, though.
Yes, sir. Only wait a second till I close this door.
That makes enough noise for half a dozen metal doors.
Good and loud, like it was real strong, huh?
Well, yes. But now, how about these controls? All I can see on the board here are 3 levers.
Well, this here one's a power control.
Uh-huh.
This one you use for steering from side to side.
Yeah.
And this one makes the nose of the groundhog go up and down.
And that's all there is to it?
That's all.
Okay. Wait a second now while I turn on the radio unit.
I'll make a full report immediately.
Oh, what's that?
Splendid, Donald.
Oh, the Secretary to the President.
Of course, I've only given you a quick picture of all we've discovered, but I'm sure the President will want immediate action.
I'm sure he will. In any event, you will have Captain Rogers report to him in person as soon as you reach the surface.
Yes.
Huh?
Signing off.
Hey, wait a minute. Hello?
Hello, Buck?
Doctor?
I was just talking to Donald, the President's secretary.
So I heard.
I think it's best that no time be lost in making official contact with the people we found living deep under the earth.
Oh, sure, but what was that about me reporting to the President?
I imagine it's just a case of giving him the complete story on this expedition.
Oh, well, now look, Doctor.
Yes?
It won't be necessary for you to make the mechanical mole push this machine of Barney's all the way back to the surface.
No?
No, sir. It'd be easy, but, well, sort of messy.
What do you want to do then?
Well, push us upward a little bit, and we'll roll right into the big cave up here. Then we can turn and proceed under our own power.
Oh, fine. Well, are you all ready to move?
Anytime you are.
All right, then here we go. Everything all right?
Yeah, we're moving straight backwards.
Good. I'll use a little more power here.
Okay. Whoa, Doctor, whoa.
Yes, Bud?
We've rolled into the open space, and it feels as though we've turned completely around.
I can see you have through our metallo glass window.
So all we need to do is head upward. You folks can follow us or make your own path, whichever's fastest.
Oh, following us up will be the fastest. We really got power in this here groundhog.
Well, we'll see. Incidentally, Buck.
Yes?
Donald is having a rocket roadster made ready for us to take it to the President.
Good. Well, let's get going.
Go ahead.
Hang on now, Barney. Gonna turn on the power.
Sure.
Boy, this machine makes more noise than a boiler factory.
How powerful, don't it?
Very kind of you to meet us at the spaceport with this rocket roadster, Donald.
It was on the President's instructions, Dr. Ure, to ensure you're not being held up by the crowds that were there to greet you.
There was quite a crowd there, wasn't there?
Yes, there. I can't get over how quiet this rocket roadster seems after that groundhog of Barney.
That is all that, but
Boy, you never heard anything like it. But Barney says it makes it sound powerful, and that's all he cares about.
it seems almost strange to be up on the surface again, doesn't it?
Yeah, kind of good. Much as I like the President, though, the kind of a meeting we're going to always embarrasses me.
Why, Buck?
Well, you know what it means. Wonderful expedition, great discoveries, marvelous scientific achievement.
Oh.
Well, I should want Wilma and me around us more than I can see.
Right, Doctor. Any credit belongs entirely to you.
Well, if I may say so, I believe the President has a great deal more than just that on his mind. Really? What? Well, he'll want to tell you himself. Now, there's his private landing platform just ahead of us. Hang on, please. We're landing. Now, right this way, please. Sit, Wilma.
Thanks.
Doctor. Thank you. We'll enter his private office through that door over... Oh, Mr. President.
Welcome. Welcome, all of you.
Well, Mr. President.
And congratulations on what I believe is the greatest scientific accomplishment of our age.
Thank you, Mr. President.
There's so much to say in commendation for your amazing speech that I won't even attempt it. Suffice it to say that arrangements for establishing social and commercial relationships with the people of your underground city are being made now.
Splendid.
I only hope that we may have a hand in it, sir. Rogers, you may not.
What?
Now, don't look so unhappy, my boy. I have another assignment for you. That is, if you're willing to take it. Why, sure. Of course I am, sir. And don't speak too quickly, Rogers, because if you do accept it, it will be the most dangerous assignment you've ever attempted. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm willing to bet that Buck takes that assignment whatever it is. So don't miss the next episode.
You've been listening to the GSMC Classics series, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Follow us at www.gsmcpodcast.com and find all of our timeless programming by typing GSMC Classics into any podcast app, including Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud, Stitcher, and more. Remember to subscribe to the GSMC Classics series podcasts of your choice to stay up to date on new episodes. And if you could take a minute to give us a nice review, that really helps us to get this ageless programming out to others who would enjoy it just as much as you have. Check out all of our GSMC Classics series podcasts. Whether you're in the mood for comedy, romance, adventure, history, science fiction, horror, or anything in between, the GSMC Classics series has you covered. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program on the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network.